Hello and welcome to Mickey Art. I've been asked by a number of people since my previous videos where I painted on plastic to share the tricks of the trade on how I turned milk bottles into paintable surfaces. So what I'm doing here is cutting up that milk bottle. I cut the big section out of the middle and then chopped all the rest of it up into these tiny little pieces. So just go through, you can cut the whole lot up. Now what I'm doing next is I'm actually lining this circular cake tin so that I can mould my lots of little pieces into that circular shape. I'm actually making like a Christmas wreath type thing. So this paper is just standard cooking paper. I believe you call it parchment paper in the States. I have no idea what they call it anywhere else, but we call it baking paper or cooking paper here in New Zealand. And any sort will do, as long as it's like a non-stick paper, not a greased paper or anything like that, because that might affect the actual plastic. So first, what I learnt from last time is I wanted a full base underneath, and which didn't have holes in it, so that the paint would just stay on the piece. And so what I'm doing at the moment is cutting sheets of plastic out of the sides of a milk bottle to fit into cover that whole bottom area. And then what I'm doing is tipping those little tiny bits that I chopped up in and spreading them out evenly. And then the bits I chopped off, chopping those up too, just filling it in, adding a bit more in there. Depends how thick you want it as to how many bits in there. I think I've got about 4 milk bottles worth of bits in there. Now what I'm doing is laying out the midsections that I chopped out of the milk bottles, 2 per layer and 2 layers, so 4 in total, between 2 sheets of the baking paper, and weighing it down between 2 oven trays. Put it all into the oven at 150 degrees Celsius. I've got it on fan bake, so that's I don't know what that is. Let's have a look. I'll find out what that is for you in Fahrenheit. So 150 degrees is 300 Fahrenheit. And then what I'm doing here is just adding a few more bits to cover up some holes. I'd kind of forgotten that I put the bit at the bottom. So I thought, oh my gosh, I've got holes. I need to put some more in. So we've been in there for just on half an hour, I would say, by looking at the clock. And the way to tell is if all of the milk bottle looks see-through when you look at it. If it's still looking white, it hasn't melted, so therefore you need to leave it in a bit longer. And then it just comes off the paper, just like that. Super easy. Hot, by the way. And then underneath you've got energy efficient, do 2 at a time. You've got your parchment scrolly piece that looks like a bit of parchment paper because it crinkles and rolls up a bit. And then I just put it back down underneath all of that just to hold it down while it cooled a little bit longer, so it sort of held its shape. So I'm really pleased with the way this wreath has come out. I'll probably paint it in Christmassy colours at some stage. You'll see it at some stage in my videos. So come join us, Acrylic Pouring for Fun, on Facebook. I'm at mickeyart.com, and thanks so much for joining me.